Hello friends, welcome to the shed. I am Chevee. How are you doing today? I hope all is well wherever you are in the world. I hope things are great for you. Okay day here in West Virginia. It's been raining for 2 days straight, so it's not beautiful. Today we're talking about writer's block, and this has been on the list for a while because I had writer's block about writer's block. That's not true. I wanted to research this. I wanted to look into writer's block, and I'm calling this episode Writer's Block, but that's what I put on the calendar. But in reality, this is more like creator's block or creativity block, because I think that anybody who does anything creative, whether it's writing or painting or making YouTube videos, there are points in time where you have no concept of what's next, and you have to figure out a way to overcome that. So in my mind, there are two different types of writer's block. There's the writer's block or the creator's block that just prevents you from even starting because you don't have the idea. And then there's the block where you get stuck in a corner, where you're not sure how to get out of this, whether you wrote yourself into a corner storyline-wise, or whether you don't know how to do something when you're making something or designing something. You're not sure the best way to format elements or whatever, or writing software and you've got a bug and you can't figure it out. Those are different types of writer's block to me. One addresses the complete lack of creativity, in a sense that you just don't even know how to start. Another one is overcoming the fear. Okay? And so I think that there's two major concerns that affect both of these. The two major problems that affect writer's block are fear of failure and perfectionism. I think creative people are inherently perfectionists. We all see flaws. I can look at this thing and see dozens and dozens of flaws. By the way, I did a video over the weekend on this. Go look for it. I see dozens and dozens of flaws. Somebody else looks at this and sees a masterpiece, a piece of beauty. And that's just part of being a creative. You're always, I think to have that creative spirit, you have to be hypercritical, and you're going to be hypercritical of yourself. But that's how we learn. That's how we progress. We look at things and we see what we don't like and we take that in. We also see what we do like, but for some reason with humans, we tend to focus on the negative. I don't know why that is. But I'll tell you that the number one thing, the thing that I learned when I wanted to do creative writing, when I was younger, I thought I would like to write. I would like to be a writer. And I took creative writing classes, and the thing that I've always heard from writers is write it down. See, the creativity, like many things, it waxes and wanes. There's high points and low points. There are days when you are going to be super creative, and there are days when you're going to have no creativity. So on super creative days, just write it all down. And I've heard of carrying around note cards, keeping a notebook, or taking notes on your phone. For a writer, we'll go specifically to a writer. If you have a character idea, write the character idea down. I've heard of writers having basically like a Rolodex of these index cards all have a character on them. These have a plot point on them. These have a plot twist on them. And just, they've written down ideas. And when you get stuck, you can just dig, like, man, I really wanted my character to meet somebody new. Well, I'll just look through my note cards and find a character to introduce them to. And that'll help spark. So for me, it's making lists. And they're not, I try really hard not to make my list a rigid device where I have to check off each point. I use it to focus my attention. Even this show, right, today I have the front and back of business card or of index cards. I'm not going to hit every point on this list. But writing it down when your creativity is high means that when your creativity is low, you always have a bank of information to pull from. And so Jimmy DiResta, one of my favorite creators of the modern age, has been on TV and on YouTube for a decade or more now, and he makes things, just whatever. And one of my favorite quotes from Jimmy is, the more you input, the more you output. And that is absolutely true. To be a good graphic designer, you have to study graphic design. You have to look at graphics. To be a good woodworker, you have to study good woodworking. To be a good writer, you have to study good writing. And you're going to pull in bits and pieces of all of that stuff that you take in to create your toolbox so that you can put things out. So I wanted to hear what some of you thought about this topic, and let's see. We have a couple things here. Nasty Jewish woman says, my husband and I will set a writing timer, write for a set period of time, then you're done for the day, if you want to be, obviously. This is a good one, I think, and the problem comes when you don't have anything to write about, and that's, some other people have pointed out, I always hear the best advice is to just free write, persevere, and push forward. Free writing is a skill that I believe it can be applied to anything. I do what I call free drawing, and I'll tell you what that is. But free writing is stream of consciousness. Just pick a topic. I'm going to write about this drill, and I'm going to free write about it for 10 minutes. And I'll sit down and I'll just start writing about it. It doesn't matter what comes out. You're not ever going to edit it or show it to somebody. It's just getting thoughts out of your brain so that you can kind of get in the motion. I'll free draw, and for me, free drawing is I want to draw, but I don't know what to draw. So I'll just make some random marks on a page and then see where that takes me. So I'll, draw a half slash or whatever, and then I'll look at it and turn it, and oh, I see this, and I'll just start drawing from there. Or sometimes I'll literally just draw circles, half circles all over a page, just interlocking half circles. Or you remember doing the squiggly with the two arrowheads, and then you just draw all these arrowheads everywhere? People do that. That's a form of free writing. It's a form of allowing some creativity out without judging yourself, because that gets over that whole fear of perfection. Eric Gibson also said, write specifically above 1 hour of stream of consciousness free writing. So yeah, free writing is a really good way to get over the block. Another method, we have a call, so let's take this, and I'll tell you what I think about this.
So you're in trouble for writer's block, eh? Well, first step is just to start a conversation. What are you talking about? I know. Probably more insightful than that. Gotta start somewhere.
You do have to start somewhere.
Good luck.
Thank you for the call. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, you just start a conversation. And I've talked many times about the rubber duck method, and I use the rubber duck method all the time when I get stuck. And start a conversation. And essentially, I'm starting a conversation with myself. The joke has always been, start a conversation with a rubber duck. Just tell the rubber duck what's going on, and you'll probably get over it. So start a conversation. What am I writing? What am I doing? What's holding me up? Just explain it. Explain it to yourself. Explain it to somebody else, especially if that person has no clue what you're talking about, because you're just going to work your way through it, through the conversation. It really does work. Trust me. If you don't have a rubber duck, get a thing and just start talking. Hey, man, this thing is, think of Wilson from Castaway. Just have something to talk to, even if it's yourself. And finally, this tip, I think I do it, and I never really thought about it. This comes from Tristan Brown. He said, whatever inspired me to do something to begin with. Something jogged the initial creativity you had to begin a project, so I just go back to where it all started. Whether you're playing a video game or reading a book, or you saw something, and then you said, oh, I got to go do that. You just go back to it. And I think we all do that in a daily basis, where we have a thought that maybe it sparks something, and then you can't remember it, so you try to reset. Okay, well, I was doing this, and then, you know what I mean? And I never really thought about using that, intentionally using that to overcome whatever's holding me up. So I really like that tip. Thank you, Tristan. And the last thing that I really want to talk about, besides the rubber duck, is taking breaks. Taking breaks is a huge deal. All right, you've got to take breaks. If your brain is stuck and you can't figure out whatever it is that's holding you up, just take a break for a while. Sometimes a while is minutes, sometimes it's months. Just take a break, put it aside, figure it out later. Let your brain go from that, because you're going to come back with a fresh pair of eyes, as people say. You're going to come back with a fresh perspective, a fresh look at it, and have a different way of attacking it. The thing is, though, you can't wait to be inspired. Okay, there is no magical inspire fairy that visits you once a month and causes you to just go. You have to create the inspiration, and you do that by doing. So just do whatever it is, whatever the heck it is. I have a video. I'm going to link it here, there. I don't know where it comes up. I think it's here. No, it's here. Whatever. I have a video. I'll put it in the comments below about just getting it done. Just go do it, and I think that's the important thing. You just do it. Right? You can't be afraid of. You can't hit the perfectionist wall, or you'll never get it done. So I would love to hear more of your thoughts about writer's block in the comments down below. If you have particular methods to overcome it, please let me know. I suffer from the get started writer's block all the time. I also wanted to mention, if you haven't visited the website yet, thedailyshed.com, check out the calendar there. Look at upcoming topics. I've got the next week and a half planned out, some episodes for later in the month. Hit me up, find some topics that you want to talk about, some news stories like we did yesterday that you want to talk about, and send those to me. You can email them to me, Chevee@thedailyshed.com. You can hit me up on Twitter, that's at Chevee Dodd, or you can do the call-in, 304-602-7433. Give me some topics for the future. And while you're there looking at the calendar, give me some thoughts on upcoming topics. And also, I wanted to mention, Friday is episode 180. I've traditionally done like a thank you for every 60 episodes. This will be the third 60 that we've completed. I don't necessarily... At this point, I know I'm going to continue doing the show, so it's not like a big woohoo for me. But I would like to do another Q&A since we've picked up a lot of new viewers. So send me some questions for Friday. The email, the phone, or the Twitter, or the comments below, so that I can get some questions to ask. Lastly, the shed wall. It's been a while since we've hung anything up. I updated the website, and part of that, I took pictures of the stuff that I hadn't taken pictures of. It's up there. If you feel inspired to send something to the show, please don't hesitate to do so. P.O. Box 8023, Fairmont, West Virginia 26555. Everybody who sends something in gets a postcard, which I used to keep here and show you. I haven't done this in a long time. And I'm getting ready to put together my holiday mailing list. So if you want to be on that list, send me a letter, and you'll be on the list, and you'll get a little special something from me for the holidays. So thank you so much for being here. As always, thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, everything that you do for me. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from wikipedia.org. What does fire in the hole mean? Fire in the hole is a warning that explosive detonation in a confined space is imminent. It originated with miners who needed to warn their other fellows that a charge had been set. I did not know that because we used it in the military, and I always assumed it was a military thing.